Welcome to NWA Powerrr. I decided to do an episode. I still don't know if you guys are going to like this series, so I'm just going to do a couple of episodes to see if you're receptive to it. NWA Powerrr Episode 6, More Questions Than Answers. Honestly, take notes, AEW. Take notes, WWE. I think I'll just put AEW because that's the one that's the new kid on the block. WWE, they're lost cause almost right now. So when it comes down to it, this was a very interesting episode. I find that this show is a lot more interesting than what we normally get. Now, we still get some flips and kicks and stuff in this show, but it's a storytelling. And the people who are trying to get the gimmicks over is the most important thing here. No pyro, no lighting, no Titantron, no vid packs generally, just them talking with a mic in the face. So, the opening of the show was the Rock and Roll Express that came out, and they wanted to try and put over Outlaw Inc., which is Kingston and Homicide. You know, I gotta say something about Eddie Kingston. I believe his first name. I liked him when he was in the OGs in Impact Wrestling. I was always angry beyond stink. They never went anywhere with it. The guy could talk, and he's okay in the ring. I never liked that he was treated so badly in Impact. That storyline should have went in a better direction than it did. You should have had Santana Ortiz either join the OCs, or the OCs were supposed to win over LAX. It should have happened either way. That should have been the emphasis, even if the guys weren't going to stay. Suicide wasn't going to, not Suicide, Hernandez wasn't going to stay with Kingston. He wasn't going to stay. But at least it would have made sense with Hernandez, Homicide, and Kingston winning over LAX. It never did. So seeing Rock and Roll Express putting over Outlaw Inc. made me feel actually quite good. And then Outlaw Inc. comes out. Kingston is humbled. And he promises, no matter what, this place, NWA, means a lot. And he's going to make sure that they win. It's going to mean something. I like that segment. It was straight to the point. And it didn't look scripted. It looked like they were being legitimate, honest. Of course, it's sort of scripted. But it had a better feel because these guys are just doing it. Now, Connolly versus Murdock. Now, Murdock right now, he used to be a wrestler. He was semi-retired. He came back to NWA and decided he wanted to try and get a contract. He wanted to try and get back into wrestling in NWA. He wanted to get a contract. There's no setup yet. Maybe that's going to be for the pay-per-view in December, where Murdock may be offered on the pay-per-view, be offered a contract. Because as it stands now, he has no contract. He's just freelancing, as it said. This is pretty late in the night. As it said, he's freelancing. Now, the match was actually not too bad. The crowd, I know the crowd is small in that little studio, but it feels like it's important because it makes you feel like they're invested. I enjoyed that. It's not like it's great because I think they should be in a larger venue. I'm sorry, their venue is pretty small. It just feels a little too small for my liking, but at least the crowd there, they do cheer, they do give their feelings when it means something and when it doesn't. I just wish it was a little larger of a venue. In the end, you had Murdock win. And the thing is that I'm hoping they're going to do something with Connolly. Connolly, from what I can tell, for years, has never really done anything substantial. Not when he was working with Trevor Lee did they begin to do something substantial, and then they stopped it. So I'm really hoping they will do something with Connolly eventually. Because I don't know if the guy has the ability to talk. I don't know if the guy has the ability to do more than just wrestle. I just don't know. I'm hoping he can, but it's just me. Aaron Rex, after the 2 out of 3 fall match, if you didn't see episode 5, you should see it because the 2 out of 3 fall match happened with Ricky's getting pinned so quickly by Ricky. It was like it was comical. And that's what they were going for, because now Aaron, well, not Aaron Rex, Aaron Stevens is pretty much said, I'm done. I'm going to basically go back to Hollywood. I'm going to do Shogun Manabu on my phone. The only thing I have to do is just accept, and I'm out of here. I don't need to be with you cretins. I don't need to care about anything. Goodbye. And he is pretty much in his tidy whities. Well, they're not colored tidy whities, but you get my point. It was funny, but the question is going to be where they're going to go with him. And I think I know where. Well, sort of where. It seemed to be what I think it is. But you guys tell me below what you think. We then have a women's tag match with Crystal Rose and Brooklyn Creed versus Marty and Thunder Rose. Now, Thunder Rose did get a very, very short vid pack of her going into MMA and about to fight in the octagon. So that isn't out yet, but it did show a little teaser of it, which was actually quite nice. It wasn't extremely long and lengthy. It was just to the point. Now, many people will not be too fond of it because it's not really enough for them, or it really doesn't give enough context, but she's an MMA fighter, not much different than Sonya Deville or Ronda Rousey or Shayna Baszler. Either she's beginning to start out or she's been doing it, but this is what you're getting. So it's a bit interesting. Now, the match itself was extremely short, and it was the heels who won. But here's the thing I did enjoy quite a lot. Since I didn't know why Marty turned on Ashley Kay. Not Ashley, what was it? Alyssa Kay, sorry. Yeah. How can I say this? That doesn't make sense. If you can't get an interpreter and fill in what's being said with subtitles, make sure you have someone there. And when it comes to Thunder Rosa and to Marty Bell, they were both translating for each other, which I found that to be refreshing. At least you're not having someone just speak straight Spanish and no translation. Or maybe with translation or straight English. And then it's like, if they're trying to hype up their Spanish or Latino heritage, they should do a little bit of Spanish in between. In this case, both of them were speaking for each other, and pretty much Marty said, look, I'm not looking to the past anymore, I'm looking to the future, and the future is right by my side. And then they started, well, Thunder Rose is pretty much saying she had a vision. She saw the Phoenix, and I'm going to come for you, Kay. It was okay. It wasn't overdone, and I'm not saying it was perfect, but at least it was refreshing enough that you could say, okay, this is something. I can buy this. I enjoyed it. The Dave Marquez. I gotta say this. Dave Marquez. I didn't get his name before, and I'm probably gonna forget it again. But I gotta say, as an interviewer, he's not too bad. He has at least an interesting voice. He has an interesting personality where he's just there to try and give the information better than Josh Gillick, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, who also did interviews during this show. But I think maybe because he's doing it more, it felt a little better. Now, you got a little bit of Storm pissed off from last week because he lost his title, the national championship. He's saying, I'm coming after you, Aldis. I'm coming after you, Nick Aldis. I'm sick of this. At first, he wanted a rematch against Cody Cabana, who I will get to in a minute. But he says, I'm coming after you, Aldis. Forget about that. Forget about that title. I'm coming for the real fish. I'm coming for him. And that was... The thing I think there was something missing was I really do believe he really needs to go after Colt again. Because since this is episode 6, this isn't episode 26. And unless you have been able to see some of the matches and some of what they've been doing in pay-per-views or anything else that NWA has done, you're not going to get the full scope of what's been going on. So it kind of feels a little rushed. That's at least what I get. Like kind of what's going on with AEW, where when they had the match between Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara against SCU, I felt that was way too soon. Yes, it was very random, but I felt it was too soon. Way too soon. Because they don't have enough shows under the belt. In this situation, I know he wants to go after Nick Aldis. It makes sense, but I do believe he needs to mess with Colt at least a little bit more, maybe about 2 or 3 more episodes before he moves on to Nick Aldis and move away from Colt Cabana, because he just lost the title. And I just feel like moving away from it that soon is not the wisest thing to do. It's just too brief. And now the Colt Cabana incident, as I call it. Because you got Colt Cabana being interviewed by Dave, and he is just beyond happy. He was injured the last time they met one another. He lost the title because he was just thinking that nothing could stop him, even though he had a messed up knee. And he was just, had a swelled head, arrogant. But now I fixed my head, I fixed my knee, and look what happened. I won my title. And then Ricky Starks, he comes out. Interested now. Now, I don't know how they're going to build this story. If he's just going to go after it because he believes he's the best there is. And since he just destroyed Aaron Stevens, that, I hope I said Aaron Stevens and not Aaron Steen or Aaron Rex, but Aaron Stevens. But seeing that, I'm hoping they'll build a little bit of story with Colt Cabana and Ricky Starks. I hope they will. I'm really hoping they'll build over 2 or 3 or even a 4 episode arc, because having just matches is not something I'm going to be very interested in. Look what happened with AEW. They threw huge amounts of matches at us with no pause. Nothing. It was just a lot. So, here's something that we got. What was it? D Parks versus the question mark. What? Now, I'm going to leave this to you. Look at these images. You got Aaron Stevens. I was saying Steen. Aaron Stevens. And now, look at the question mark. What do you think? It kind of makes you think. I'm just saying. Because Aaron Stevens is gone. But the question mark is there. It was a pre-emped match. And this guy destroyed Parks. Not saying Parks is great or not. He sold it pretty well. But he just looked like, oh, but what? I was waiting for him to go over to Dave and say, I am the question mark. I will be making a mark on you. Something. It was a lot of comedy in this show. And we got, what is the guy's name? Where is he? I'm trying to find him. It is, I can't see his name. Where is his name? Where is he? In this show, sometimes they show advertisement that's not real, as far as I can tell, real advertisement. You got Tony Farks. Again, that thing fell down. Tony Farks. And he has a farm. And the farm is a wrestler farm that you can grow marks or heels. He's in my face. That was so funny. It was funny. I love that video. That was just funny. This is how you make it interesting. Break it up. Break up you got to break it up. You got to make sure that you get pauses in between some of the matches, some of the segments, so people can absorb it and people can honestly feel immersed. Now, of course, this show isn't 100% the greatest show, because I am not saying I don't like it. I do like it a lot. But not everyone's going to be able to understand it, because they're used to pyro. They're used to light shows. They're used to Titantrons. They're used to music. And the way they're going to get people over is with ring segments, ring work and ring segments and interviews. And to make the show more interesting, these funny skits, which I do enjoy so much. I love them. I'm saying it now. It's so funny. I love it. Kind of like what happened with, if anyone used to see the WWF in the day, and you have you had Bobby the Brain Heenan with Gorilla Monsoon, and they would have these really funny skits in between the wrestling. That was just so much fun. And this is kind of reminiscent of it. And I enjoy that. Now, we got Eli Drake coming out. Want to do something about Camille. Then you got the wild card with Latimer, who is Bram, and Isaac. I don't recognize him. But Latimer getting pissed off saying, don't stick your nose in any business. Get your ass out of here. He doesn't say it directly like that, but he pretty much is telling Eli, don't stick your nose in business you don't understand. And Eli's making it very clear. One, he's trying to put himself over so he can get a match with Nick Aldis by using Camille and her not talking, which is really interesting. She doesn't say a damn word, but everybody wants to hear just one peep out of her. It's so good. It's interesting. But now Bram Latimer, he legitimately is getting pissed off that she is being bothered. And then you got Anderson coming out, messing with Eli Drake because of probably what happened last week once Cody Cabana actually won the national title. So he's not too happy about what happened then, so that means they're going to have their little bit of time together, which is okay. And let's see, there's very little left. There's Billy Corgan, where he pretty much thanks everybody for looking at NWA. And he does talk about the pay-per-view. I think it's December 14th or 11th. I can't remember. But essentially, he's just thanking people for just helping to get NWA. I'm kind of surprised about this. We don't normally get this from someone who owns the company. He just comes out and say, dude, thank you. I guess that's the reason why I was taken back in that box a bit. Because you don't usually get that from owners of any promotion. Normally, it's very rare. And I guess Billy Corgan is being straightforward with this because NWA has had it hard for years. And it's good to see that actually doing something here. And no, I almost forgot. The tag match. Almost forgot it. The tag match of Outlaw Inc. versus the Wild Card. And Nick Aldis comes out pretty much saying, I am here to make sure the integrity of the titles and the championships, not just his, not just the national title, but also the tag titles. They're the prestigious, most respected titles in the world. I want to make sure it's treated properly. And I thought he was going to try and do something and do some shenanigans in the ring. That's what I thought. So we have the match. It wasn't a bad match. He didn't really try to stop anybody. He was just watching there. In the end, Wildcard retained. I didn't think they would pretty much job. But then Camille comes out. James Storm comes out. Cody Cabana comes out. You got, I think Connolly came out. I think the Dawsons came out. And a lot of people just came out. You don't know what's going on because the music is playing in the background because it's the closing credits. And compared to AEW, that when they are legitimately having a special segment and they legitimately cut to a screen format when they should not be cutting away, when you know the commentators need to say something and you know that the wrestlers in the ring are going to say something, instead of trying to group instead of budgeting your time, grouping your advertisement as close together as possible, because you can do that. I'm sure they have the ability to try and group them as closely as possible. They don't. And then a lot of content is just lost because if you want to try and get someone over, they're not going to get over seeing in a tiny screen when you know they're saying something because you can see their mouth moving and you know the commentators are saying something and they're sure they're saying something, but then when they cut back, you don't know what was stated unless it was something really bad. So you miss an entire chunk of what's going on. But in this situation that they're going to close out and they play the music in the background, you see so many people, you don't know what's going on. It's a lovely ending. Now, should you watch episode 6? Yes. Now, if you have not seen NWA Powerrr, look at episode, I would really say to look at all the episodes. They are about an hour long. At least most of them are an hour long. A few are under an hour. And it's a good show. If you haven't seen episode 5, I would recommend you see episode 5 because even though the show did show a couple of scenes that happened in episode 5, like with Marty Bell, like what happened with Cody Cabana, what happened with Aaron Stevens, that was briefly shown, like less than about 20 or 30 seconds, which is the right thing to do. 20 or 30 seconds of what happened before. They budgeted the time very well. I recommend you take a look at it. So I want to say this, that if you guys like this and you like seeing this continue, I've been considering what needs to be done. And the best option would be, since I do Impact on Tuesday nights, and NWA Powerrr comes out on Tuesday evening just before you got Impact, I would try and see it the next day. But if I'm busy that day, particularly I got to go to my doctor's, or I wake up late and it's too late to watch it, now I got to go to my physical therapy because of my condition, the best way would be this. Tuesdays would be Impact, Wednesdays would be AEW, and then Thursday would be NWA Powerrr. Tell me if you don't mind that format. Yes, it's going to be about 2 to 3 days late. It is going to be about 2 to 3 days late. I just hope you understand, you'll be willing to still see my review of it. But this is my point of view. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace.